Well, Israel began a series of limited ceasefires across Gaza just yesterday. The action is allowing more humanitarian aid into the Strip, and it's drawing praise from the international community. It's also drawing criticism inside Israel.
As for long-term peace, President Trump believes Hamas is not interested in making a hostage deal. Chuck Holton has the latest from Jerusalem.
The Israeli military faced mounting pressure to ease the humanitarian crisis in Gaza. In response, the IDF announced new measures to expand aid delivery, both by land and air.
In order to reach even more civilians, the IDF has conducted an airdrop operation of humanitarian supplies led by CogAT with international aid organizations. In addition, we are now implementing daily humanitarian pauses and designated corridors to allow safe movement for aid distribution.
According to the IDF, more than 850 aid trucks entered Gaza over the past week. Israel also connected a power line to increase clean water output in Gaza by 5 million gallons per day. But as the UN convoys resumed operations, some were looted, raising serious concerns about distribution security. President Trump says Hamas does not want a deal.
They hardened up. They don't want to give them back. And so Israel's going to have to make a decision. I know what I do, but I don't think it's appropriate that I say it, but Israel's going to have to make a decision.
Families of some hostages condemn the ceasefires, calling them a strategic mistake that gives Hamas time to regroup without securing the release of any captives.
So we're sending soldiers to fight the enemy. They go to war and they sacrifice their lives. And on the second hand, we're sending them everything they need in order to continue this war effort against us.
Sunday night in Jerusalem, Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu addressed Christian leaders, including Pastor Paula White of the White House Faith Office, in which he pushed back on accusations that Israel was persecuting Christians.
Israel is now portrayed as the enemy of Christians. And the enemies of Christians are portrayed as the friends of the United States. Israel has a thriving Christian community, the only thriving Christian community in the broad radius of the Middle East, where Christians are not tolerated, they're cherished. There is no policy of starvation in Gaza, and there is no starvation in Gaza.
Netanyahu reaffirmed Israel's commitment to dismantling Hamas and securing the return of the hostages, while warning that the war for public opinion may be just as critical as the fight on the ground. Meanwhile, the United Nations is holding a meeting of high-level officials to promote a two-state solution to the Israel-Palestinian conflict, co-chaired by the foreign ministers of France and Saudi Arabia. Israel opposes a Palestinian state. The U.S. calls the meeting unproductive to ending the war in Gaza. Both are boycotting the meeting. From Jerusalem, I'm Chuck Holton for CBN News.
Well, I echo what President Trump said. I know what I would do. If you take members of my family hostage, then I'm going to do everything in my power to get them home. And that's exactly what Israel should be doing, literally anything within their power to do. Hamas is just evil, and they want to drive Israel into the sea. They want to massacre every single Jew living in Israel. That's what their call was on October 7th, the Al-Aqsa flood. They wanted to go all the way to Jerusalem, and they wanted to kill, they wanted to rape, they wanted to maim, and they wanted to take people captive and hold them as hostages. Just imagine, what would you do in that situation? Well, you'd do everything in your power. You wouldn't hold back. But here is Israel as a democracy, as a place that believes in freedom of religion. They respect all of the holy sites in Israel. Christianity is growing in Israel. It's the only nation in the Middle East where Christianity is growing. And you see these other stories that are being spread around the world, and truth has been stood upside down. These are complete lies, and I don't understand news bureaus going along with it and reporting it, and I certainly don't understand the UN having talks about independently creating a Palestinian state. Back in 1948, that was the resolution, that there would be a Jewish state, Israel, and there would be a Palestinian state. Well, the Palestinians rejected that. They didn't want a state. What they wanted is to drive Israel into the sea. And they declared war in 1948, and they have never stopped it. They've been offered that state numerous times. After they lost the war in 48, they were offered it. After they lost a war in 1967, they were offered it. They were offered it by President Clinton. He sat down with Arafat and literally gave him everything he asked for. And Arafat still couldn't sign a peace deal and would not create a Palestinian state and recognize Israel. He refused to do it. Why did he refuse to do it? Because he knew he would be assassinated if he came to peace with Israel. That's the enemy we all face. Let's recognize it. Let's not have revisionist history. Let's not call Israel an apartheid state. All of that is false. And this false news narrative, the propaganda machine is going in full bore. I don't understand why educated people would fall into it, but they have. As Christians, we stand with Israel, and we will stay standing with Israel.